Can I be a bit more naive in my next question? The assumption is when people use this term called person-centric planning,
Yeah.
and if the planning is from that base point that is dependent on this individual who the services are being provided, and whether they are from any culture,
Yeah.
and if they are, it should be delivered for that person, and it should be somewhat custom done for this person. So in that scenario, which means you don't need to have a multicultural strategy or a CAL strategy or LGBTI strategy because the planning is person-centric. You're understanding this person's need and then giving care and services around this person. So how does these two live together?
100%. And the problem is, and actually person-centered care is now in the actual act, like the acts that we're having. So that's how strong. But we always had person-centered care aims. That's the thing of what's changed now, because we wrote it down in a paper, and all of a sudden, what's missing is that we're assuming that we have clients who, and again, go back to the act. So the act has the person-centered and has lots of big words: cultural safety, cultural appropriate, trauma-informed, but neither the act nor the standards actually describing what that means. And when I asked why not, they said, oh, it's because up for interpretation because it's an individual experience. Again, going back to person-centered care. But that puts back the pressure on an individual, because now the person has to know what cultural safety means for them. They have to know what cultural appropriate means for them. They have to internally know that, and they have to communicate that to an organization and to a system that never asked that question before. And from the provider side of things, when you have to interpret something that you have never had to deal with or care about, all of a sudden it becomes, well, I'm doing this, you're doing that. There is no cohesive policy or strategy around this. So what person-centered mean for your organization going to mean very different to my organization, because we interpret it this different way. So yes, we can use person-centered care, but without underlining foundation of, all right, can we agree at least on the baseline of what that means, including cultural safety, cultural appropriate. I had situations where we're still defining these basic words. They're still asking, what does cultural appropriate means for you?